Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, as almost every single person in the fellowship predicted, and anybody out there with half a brain and a little bit of common sense did indeed think was going to happen, it is official. After the disastrous dumpster fire, the worst video game disaster in the history of the industry, Concord, that was shut down less than 2 weeks after it had been premiered out there to a peak of less than 700 players, Sony has finally done the smart thing, and after blowing over $400 million on this game, not to account for the amount of money that they spent on the studio, they are finally correcting that error, shutting everything down, and firing the majority of the people involved with this disastrous dumpster fire, because after Concord goes down in flames, Sony is officially shuttering the developer. And boys and girls, it could not come to better people. I mean, this game was hot, woke, ideological garbage from the very beginning. Every single one of these characters was nothing more than body positivity nonsense. I mean, the tanks looked like hand grenades. It was disturbing. It was weird. And guess what? Even from the people that did actually go out there and test the game, they said it was boring, it was bland, and it brought literally nothing new to the PvP environment out there in any way, shape, or form. And guess what? It has now gotten exactly what they've deserved, because after all, go woke, go broke, and this is another prime example of that, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to check out this article over here from Bounding Into Comics, exactly, and we've got the official statement over here as well, and then of course we've got a lovely little graphic over here from thatparkplace.com. But I really do appreciate the way Spencer broke down this entire statement, pointing out all of the problems with it, because it's not only just one company, it is actually two that are getting shut down as well. So we're going to check out these articles, we're getting all of the juicy details, but before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you haven't already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Does it surprise you in any way, shape, or form that Sony is completely and totally shuttering the studio, firing the majority of the people involved out there, and are just completely and totally scrapping this game as one big, almost $500 million loss? Or are you one of the 697 people out there that actually was hoping this game might come back after a little bit of Steam activity? Let us know what you think about all of that in the comment section down below. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please check out the links in the descriptions down below as well. And super thanks are officially available on all of our videos as well. So shout out to anybody that helps support that way as well. So from our dear sweet Spencer Bacouli over at Bounding Into Comics. After Concord goes down in flames, Sony officially shutters developer Firewalk Studios. We did not hit our target with this title. You think? I don't think you hit any of it. I mean, not hitting your target, that is very, very, very generous way to say this was the biggest video game disaster in history, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the ball game. In the wake of the historically disastrous failure that was Concord, Sony has officially and totally shuttered developer Firewalk Studios, in a crushing the hopes of the 4 people who were truly hoping that the live service hero shooter's recent Steam activity was a hint that it was on track to find a second life as a F2P title. The closing of Firewalk Studios was announced by Sony Interactive Studios Business Group CEO Herman Hulst on the morning of October 29th, literally less than 24 hours ago. Breaking the news via a post published on the official PlayStation blog, Holst informed the players, "As part of our ongoing efforts to strengthen SIE's studio business, we have had to make a difficult decision relating to 2 of our studios, Neon Koi and Firewalk Studios." I mean, honestly, a difficult decision. I know you're just being kind because you don't want to hurt these people's feelings, and that's not how it works inside of industries like this. But no, this was not a difficult decision. This was the biggest, easy decision of our lifetimes. I mean, seriously, $500 million lost for a peak concurrent players of less than 700 people. No, I think this was a pretty easy decision, because guess what? 2 plus 2 still equals 4, boys and girls. Expanding beyond PlayStation devices and crafting engaging online experiences alongside our single-player games are key focal areas for us as we evolve our revenue streams. And clearly, this game didn't do it. We need to be strategic, though, in bringing our games to new platforms and recognize when our games fall short of meeting player expectations. Fall short? Everybody knew what this game was going to be before you even released it. Your trailer got ratioed into oblivion. Everyone knew what kind of hot garbage this was going to be, except you, Sony. On the subject of Neon Koi, a mobile game studio acquired by Sony in 2022 for work on an undisclosed action game and who ultimately closed its doors without a single release credit. Yes, boys and girls, this studio for 2 years did not produce absolutely anything. And if you caught Tuesday night's main event, or if you know who Madame Savvy is all, she did a great breakdown of all of these different studios and all of these different people that are all interconnected with like Sweet Baby Inc. and they all go on like the same podcast together. it's one of those crazy little things where it's like the 7 steps of Kevin Bacon, right? Like you can connect every Hollywood actor to Kevin Bacon in just like 7 steps, right? Through like movies and all of that kind of stuff. It was the exact same kind of thing. And she actually theorized, at least I think she might have even found some evidence of, that literally a lot of these studios are only built up by these activists just to get acquired by companies like Sony in order to spread their virus, to spread their cancer, their infection of the woke mind virus into all of the rest of these studios out there. And guess what? In this case, yeah, the first parts of that plan worked out, but now the studio's being shut down and everybody's getting fired. If you want a full breakdown on that, go check out Tuesday night's main event from October 29th. You'll be able to go out there and give the full breakdown and watch Madame Sevy out there in all of her autistic glory go over the whole thing for you. You're gonna love it. I promise. Go check it out. But at the end of the day, while mobile games remain a priority growth area for studio business, we are in very early stages of our mobile efforts. And guess what? You guys didn't produce squat. To achieve success in this area, we need to concentrate on titles that are in line with PlayStation Studios' pedigree. That means whatever they were working on looked like hot garbage that have the potential to reach more players globally. With this refocused approach, Neon Koi will close and its mobile action game will not be moving forward. I want to express my gratitude to everyone at Neon Koi for their hard work and endless passion to innovate. Yeah, and actually if you go over to like Neon Koi's social media apparatus and stuff out there, like literally the only thing you ever see from them is how excited they were to work at Sony. How about how they all got like free PlayStation 5s and how excited they were to eat the free donuts at Sony? Like there was never anything about any kind of development or what they were working on and any kind of advances. And according to some rumors out there, the people hired for this stuff literally had to Google how to make stairs in video games because they were hired for a job that they literally had no credentials for. I wonder if they were a DEI hire. Probably. Turning to Firewalk Studios, the business group CEO recalled how certain aspects of Concord were exceptional, but others did not land with enough players, and as a result, we took the game offline. Yeah, less than 700, so essentially no one. We have spent considerable time these past few months exploring all our options. But after much thought, we have determined the best path forward is to permanently sunset the game and close the studios. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Sony's admitting there is no saving this hot pile of steaming, woke, nonsense, DEI, intersectionality, body positivity, garbage. Yeah, no. We're just going to cut our losses. We're going to dust off the sand. We're going to dust off our sandals and we're going to move on, boys and girls, because this dog ain't never going to hunt. And it would just be a waste of more money and more resources because of how much hot garbage this game has been. And of course, this is what happens when you make identity politics the priority in your storytelling, in your art. It always falls flat because when you try to make it for everyone, you make it for no one. And guess what? The majority of gamers reject your nonsense. The PvP first-person shooter genre is a competitive space, and that's continuously evolving. And unfortunately, we did not hit our targets with this title. You think? While we take these lessons learned from Concord and continue to advance our live service capabilities to deliver future growth in this area. Oh yes, we're going to take the lessons learned of not hiring a bunch of woke, activist, psychopathic cult members possessed by the spirit of the age and then give them $500 million only to have it turn into the worst video game disaster in history. Yeah, that'd probably be a good lesson to learn. I know none of this is easy news to hear, particularly with colleagues and friends departing SIE. Yes, boys and girls, they're firing the lot of them. They are firing almost everyone involved with this disastrous dumpster fire. And honestly, that's the smartest decision in the world they could possibly do. When you have a cancer like this, the only thing you can do is purge it. Both decisions were given serious thought. Yeah, serious thought about, nah, hell no. And ultimately, we feel that the right ones to strengthen the organization. Neon Koi and Firework were home to many talented individuals, and we will work to find placement for some of those impacted within our global community for studios where possible. So yeah, the maybe one or two competent game developers, the people who actually made any of that kind of stuff function and work, and people who can just paint to whatever they were actually told to do, yeah, we're going to keep those. But anybody involved in the creative aspect, anybody involved in character design, anybody involved in any of the rest of that stuff in this game, yeah, you're all your asses out the door. Bye-bye, bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, because we don't need your services anymore in any way, shape, or form. I'm a big believer in the benefits of embracing creative experimentation and developing new IPs. I'm totally okay with you guys trying to attempt your woke garbage. However, growing through sustainable financials, especially in challenged economic environment, is critical. If your woke experiment doesn't sell, we're going to shut you down. While today is a difficult day, there is much to be looked forward to in the months ahead for the studio business group and our teams. Yeah, everybody that's left, all of the rest of you guys that are fired, goodbye, we'll see you later. Everybody else that's still here, trust me, we got plenty of great things coming. Don't you worry. All the rest of these clowns, they're out. I remain confident that we are building a resilient and capable organization driven by creating unforgettable entertainment experiences for our players, which clearly Concord was not in any way, shape, or form. And why? Why wouldn't it be? Because as you can see from bounding into comics over here, peak current players, 697, an all-time peak. And trust me, boys and girls, it didn't get any better from there right before they shut down the entire studio. And as Spencer right here says, 8 years and $400 million later, not including what it cost to actually buy the studio itself, the tombstone has finally been placed on Concord's grave. And all in all, what's left to say except better luck next time, Sony? No, I'll tell you what's left to say. Hey, Sony, next time, don't be a dumbass and hire a bunch of activists and drop $500 million on the altar to their woke cult. Because that's exactly what you did. You have sacrificed $500 million on the biggest video game disaster in history, all because you were convinced, maybe by nefarious means, that the woke acolytes of the cult, garbage, nonsense, spirit of the age, BS that they like to call diversity, inclusion, and equity, was going to sell to a mass audience. They lied to you, and the devil told you that, oh, well, by appealing to these small segment groups, well, everybody else will just accept it. Everybody else will just love it. It's just a small portion of the population that are a bunch of bigots and phobes that reject this kind of stuff. Well, guess what, Sony? Just like everybody else out there that's ever worshipped a false idol, you have found out the exact same truth. It is nothing more than a bag full of lies that they sold you, and now you've lost at least $500 million on the biggest video game disaster in history, Concord. And at least you did make one smart decision, Sony. You fired almost absolutely everyone involved, shuttered the entire studio, and wiped your hands clean of the whole situation. So yes, that was a smart decision. Yes, good job. And here's a thought, Sony. The next time somebody comes selling you a bag of goods about some kind of diversity, inclusion, and equity nonsense, it's just going to work so well this time. Remember what happened with Concord, because trust me, the rest of the video game industry will not. This is the biggest disaster in video game history ever, and we will remember. The internet does not forget, and if we get a sniff or an inclination of you trying this nonsense again, we will make sure you hear about it. And just like you got with Concord, any other thing you try with this, you will also get exactly what you deserve.